We're
No,
like,
we
okay, third in
expected.
the D-ball, but let's talk about that 21st in the run.
Right. Yeah. No, I know exactly how you felt. There's a lot of times I didn't place high, but I did very well for me. Like knowing you've improved so much over the past year or two is such an awesome feeling.
Same.
This is my time. I'm on the rise. Can't hold me down. I'm too fly. This is my time. Ready to shine. Brighter than all of the lights. Cause when it's game time, seconds away and the game's on the line. There ain't no doubt in my mind. Beating the buzzer like, this is my time. This is my moment. You better bet that I'm on it. Ready and set, I'ma own it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Be Stellar podcast. I'm your host, Stella Atwood. This is mom producer Meredith Atwood, and on today's episode, we have Anthony Nix. Yay!
Hey, welcome.
So, first thing I want to say is congrats on the games. How are you
Thank you so much.
feeling? I mean, it's been like 2 weeks since the games. I mean, your adrenaline goes from like up here all the way straight down to there. So, how is it being back to reality?
Well, my body is like, so we left Monday and like we drove from Michigan to, I live in South Carolina. So it was like a 12-ish hour drive for us. So like I got to rest most of the drive back, but we got out for like a gas station stop Monday. And like I tried to hop out of our van and I almost ate it. Leaving our van, my legs were so like full of blood and they're so dang sore too. Where it's just like, oh gosh, I almost ate the concrete hopping out of our van. And then but soreness actually went away fairly quickly, which I was surprised by. But so like fatigue wise, like I tried to run like that Friday after the competition was over, just like 200 meters, and my whole body was like, nah, we're not we're not ready to do that yet. Body feels like pretty good. It what was like a nice reality shock after was I went from like we were competing in this arena with like hundreds of people and like tens of thousands of people online were watching live, which was so cool. But we get like I had class the next day after it was over, and I'm like the dumbest guy in my math class. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what's happening right now? But it was so cool to get to compete and then to tell like all the supporters who've watched me for like people who've watched me try to qualify for years and years to tell them the stories of like this past weekend has been awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, like going from being one of the fittest teens on earth to just going back to being like a normal high school kid, and like a teacher asks you a question in class, and you're like,
Yeah, no, like I had so much homework to do over the weekend. I didn't do any of it, and then so I get back to class, I was like, oh no, like so far behind.
I just caught up on my schoolwork
Really,
from
I
like missing a few days. Like, it's
yeah,
insane.
that Sunday after the competition was over, like I had an essay to finish up to write. I was like, and I thought I checked the due date and it was wrong. Like I thought I had an extra day, and so I had to finish that Sunday night. I was like, oh no, like I wanted to celebrate, but it was like straight back into schoolwork. So I
Oh
mean,
gosh.
yeah, can't complain, but I mean, you gotta do school.
Are you in traditional high school? Are you homeschooled or
So this is
hybrid?
actually my first year of college. So
Oh,
Oh.
yes, so like I graduated early from my high school,
Oh.
and so I started. I'm taking all like my basic core classes right now, like English 101, Math 120, and like next semester I'll have more classes, but I'm just taking a few classes right now.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
so definitely like a shock going from like I've never competed at the games, and also dealing with like my first college classes has been like um definitely been a culture shock doing all that at the same time.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
So last year it was your first year in the 16-17 division,
Mhm.
and you didn't make it past the open.
No, I did not.
You went from 240th place to 11th in the world. How does one do such a thing? Can you talk us through what you did this past year to
Yeah,
make you go from that to that?
yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, let me tell you what I did last year that messed me up, and then I'll tell you about this year. So last year, um, like I've wrestled for a while, and that was like my other thing I was pretty good at too. And but I cut all this weight for wrestling. Like I started the year off at 185, 185 pounds, and I cut down to 156 was my lowest. So for 4 months, I had to like hold that weight roughly for the wrestling season, and it just got like it was so miserable to try to keep all that weight off for so long. Where like I think we went in the open. I don't remember what the workout was, but I think it was thruster, 95-pound thrusters. And I was doing like sets of 3, and I was like, what is happening right now? But like just all that, like, because at a certain point I was losing muscle also with like my weight cut. So it was just like I was just so out of it going into the open where I didn't even get to make quarters. But after that year, I was like, I knew I had to make some priority adjustments where I was like, okay, either I'm going to be like a decent wrestler or I could be a really good CrossFit athlete. And I was like, I love CrossFit more, so I ended up picking that. But I've been training at this one gym, Mayfair CrossFit, for 5, 6 years now. But they were telling they're not very competitive, the most competitive gym, but they told me about another gym that's about an hour from my house, and they got some very good athletes. Caden Myers, who got 5th last year at the games, he's been my training partner all year. So like having that, definitely, like, I knew I was going to improve, but the rate at which I was improving was unbelievable to me. Like, it was awesome to get to train with that level of athlete, and they have quite a few of those athletes over there too. So that was awesome.
Did you like go with their coach too, or were you doing your own plan?
So I did all the programming at the new gym, Electric City Fitness Company is what it's called. I started doing their programming, and like so what happened was I would train every morning with the new gym I started going to, but I would still I would go back in the afternoons to my other gym. So a little bit of gym hopping this year. Yeah. So I mean, there's like 3 gyms I had in rotation that I would like hit up weekly. So I mean, having that support from all those different gyms, it was pretty cool. Great people in all the gyms.
So you're obviously like a really strong athlete. Did you work on strength a lot this upcoming year, like the past year?
I did, but it definitely wasn't my focus. Like my focus was, like I've always been a stronger athlete, even in the 14-15 division. Like that's been what I know I can do well on in a competition. Running and like longer time domains in a workout has always been like F when I see it in a workout. I'm like, this is not going to go well. But this
Stella
year,
and
like,
Anthony, have you met each other?
Me too. I hate workouts over 16 minutes.
So like
16.
it's funny that you say that because like every year we do Murph at our gym, and it's always the most embarrassing day of the year for me because like I'm a games athlete now, but like this year I was the last person, like the next to last person had already come in from their mile, and I was still doing air squats, and I was just like, gosh dang, like they're starting to shut down the gym. I was like, this is miserable. This is just terrible.
Well, Stella,
And
tell him about your brother.
So I was like, bro, do you want to do Murph with me? He's 16 years old, cross country runner. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not going to do any of that fake pull-up stuff that you do. So he does strict pull-ups. Pull Murph. He beats me doing strict
oh
pull-ups.
no. Oh, that's got to be like just a punch in the gut. That's terrible.
I
It
mean,
is so
her
bad.
dad and I were sitting there, we're like placing bets on each. We're like, when's he gonna blow up? He can't possibly sustain this. Like, she's gonna beat him.
What was his time? Did he do it with a vest on?
No, we weren't.
I ran
Oh,
with
that
the
cheater.
ruck, though. I ran with the ruck
Okay, so you are extra. That doesn't count
on an
then.
assault runner, so I don't.
Yeah, there was lightning and thundering
Oh,
that day,
dang.
so they were inside.
Yeah.
It's
The
true.
gym we have in Pickens was like we don't have a lot of money at our gym, so like we don't have a whole lot of equipment. We don't have any air runners, but it was starting to be like thunder, lightning. I think we got a little bit of hail while we were running, but it was just like it is what it is. Like we're finishing this workout.
Well, we're outside of Atlanta, so y'all probably had that same band of weather.
Gotcha. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
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 But yeah, Murph is always. Oh, it's a good thing to do for a gym and a community, but I hate doing the
So
workout. It's
humbling.
miserable. It's incredibly.
It's
But what you're saying about longer workouts too is like every stage of the competition this year, like we would do like a 20-minute workout. So like in the open, we did that 20-minute AMRAP. In
Mhm.
quarterfinals, we did the wall ball, burpee box jump over workout, which was miserable. It was a terrible workout. And then in semifinals, we did another 20-minute AMRAP, and it was always like my scores would always be like around 9th, 15th, and 20th. and then that would be like 110th. So it's like it would end up balancing. I would qualify for the next stage, but it was like, oh crap.
Yeah, no, that's mine. I like in quarterfinals, it was like a 15th, a 30th, something else, and then like a 78th. And then
Right.
in semis, it was like a third, like a 15th, something else. I can't remember. And then 78th.
Yeah. So, how did you do on the what's it called? The clean and jerk workout for quarterfinals?
Our like last clean and jerk weight and ended at 95 for the 14, 15 girls. So I did
Oh
pretty
yeah.
well. I think I got fourth on that.
Yeah, because I remember looking at the 14, 15-year-old weights, and I was like, I think
So
your guys'
light.
workout was so much worse because you had to get so many reps in for a good score. Like we
Mhm.
had a heavier barbell, which I like. If it would have been, if we would have ended at like 185 or one whatever it was for the boys, it would have been miserable. Like because you have to do so many reps. Um, but Kaden Myers, who I was telling you about, who made the games last year, we actually did the workout like facing each other, and so we both made it like an agreement. We're like, hey, we're not going to go touch and go on anything. We're just going to go like quick singles, and I thought we both agreed to that. He comes out and does touch and go for the first 10. I'm like, you a-hole. Like,
That's dirty.
That
yeah.
is
And then
mean.
so he beats me off the first weight, and he beats me by a little bit on the second weight. And then I started catching him a little bit on the third weight. And I know I'm beating him on the fourth weight, but we're facing each other, but I can't quite tell where he's at. And then so like as soon as the time cap's over, we both fall on the ground. And then I find out he beat me by one rep, and it crushed me. It hurt so bad.
No.
Yes. Um, but
Well, he
like
did you dirty though. He
he
should have
did.
blown up. He should have like your plan should have worked and you should have beat him.
He was blown up a little bit at the end, but it didn't matter because he was already had a little bit of a lead, and I knew I was chasing him down, but it was just like, dang, I'm. You can tell it still bothers me now. Like,
I mean, my brother beating me in Murph will haunt me forever.
right?
Are you
No,
gonna beat him this year, Stella? Probably not.
Yes. Yes, I will.
Probably
Okay.
not.
My running has gotten better. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a running workout.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it
I'll
is,
get
but it
better at
isn't.
push-ups. I'll
right.
get better at push-ups. It's fine.
I enjoy the push-ups. I get to lay on the ground for a little bit. That's like my rest. I
I
can
like
drop
the
down.
squats.
Oh, there's just too many squats.
Really? That was my favorite part. I can just like I love air squats.
Because I'm already so far in the workout, and you do 120, and you're like, crap, I still have 180 to go. Like there's just air
Do
squats
you
aren't
not
bad.
like break it up?
Partition it. You don't
No,
partition it, you do it straight.
I always do it straight through. I don't know, like that's because that's how it was written originally on like the website. So I always do it that way.
That makes sense then.
Yeah.
You would probably
No,
like it better if you partitioned it.
no, 100%. You're probably right. Like I also tried strict pull-ups this year too. So I told you how bad I did this year. I felt so bad about it. I did it again Monday. So I did it Saturday and then I did it Monday. And just as like we can do so much better on that. So I ended up improving by like 20 minutes 2 days later. So
Wow.
Y'all are not right. None of y'all are right in the head.
no, there's a few screws loose up here, but I mean that's probably why I ended up doing so well this year.
So let's talk a little bit about the games. I want to know your strategy and your plan for the D-ball workout because you crushed it.
Oh, thank you. That one. So luckily we had a D ball at the gym I go to, and so originally I tried going like I was like I can go touch and go for like the first 10, and then I'll break up, and then I was like I picked up one. I tried to go touch and go for 4, and then I rested for 30 minutes after that. I was like, holy crap, that is wild. What I ended up doing was it was 150 pounds for our division, so I knew just quick singles. Like you really can't step back too far, and so it's just when you drop it, gather yourself. You want to fall with a D ball almost, and then pick it right back up. But there was not a whole lot of time to just you couldn't really rest too much in between. And then the carry's fine. Like originally doing it at the pit, it would have been like I think tripled the distance we would have done.
Mhm.
But like in that workout, like you said, like I feel like I did pretty well in that workout. And I think 13 reps in, and I see KO who's in the middle lane or one of the middle lanes, and
Yeah.
he takes off like finish like the sprint to end the workout. And I'm like what just happened? I was like my confidence was shot after that. I was like, okay, I just got to finish.
Yeah.
But definitely like I had I think 15 to 20 people who followed me up there to like cheer me on that weekend. So it's like seeing all of them, and they all wore like neon shirts too, so they're easy to pick
Yeah, I
out.
remember your people.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so like they'd all like shuffle into my lane, and they would be like, and I brought two coaches with me, and I see both of them like cussing, screaming, yelling at me, be like, go pick it back up. And so like that definitely fired me up a little bit more for it too, just the adrenaline rush too. But that one I didn't think hurt too bad. It was just like you had to stay moving the whole time.
No, it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
So
of the
Stella did 25 reps.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. So the 14 to 15 girls had a false start. I don't know. One of the girls started going, confusing, right? So she starts going, and then everybody else starts going. And I'm like, oh, guess we're going. We're not going. You did not
oh
hear the
no.
freaking beep.
But Stella went.
Hold on. I went. All of us do like 1 rep. I do 6 reps before I know that it's not go time yet.
Oh no.
And the girl next to me in the lane next to me, she's like, Stella, drop the ball. So I did 6 reps. And then a minute later, I did 20 in the actual workout.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah.
But
still got
you
third
did
on it.
great, but I like the whole plan was for Stella to hang onto the
Unbroken.
ball. And so it's like, the whole like if she hadn't done the 6, warm up
would've
reps
won
30
it.
seconds prior.
Yeah, she
But that's
started
okay.
she did like 25% more reps as a buy into the workout. That's crazy.
And like they didn't even give us like over a minute of rest. I might have been 30 seconds.
It was quick. It was quick.
What did you end up finishing on that workout?
3rd.
Oh,
So-
that's such a flex. Like that's
But
so
I was
awesome.
like, I could have won that. I know I could have won it if I didn't do that. But
Right.
it's whatever.
Because it was
To
only
po-
20 seconds they beat you by, I think. 20 seconds, the first place. You
Oh
definitely
my
did 20
goodness.
seconds worth of extra reps.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy to me.
It's like
come
kind of
out
embarrassing.
to come out and do 6 reps and still podium in the workout that's so impressive. That like congrats.
Thanks.
What I was saying about extra reps too is I just thought about this while I was warming up. I knew like you can't go too fast because the guys in the lanes beside me, like they were both really strong, but they would like throw it over their shoulder, and then no
Mhm.
rep takes so much energy. So I was like, I knew I also had to go slow enough to where I wouldn't get no reps. Yeah. So
Which lane were you in, Anthony? Like, because we saw KO. Were you 2
We
down
saw-
from him?
I was, I think 2 or 3. I was in lane 4.
Yeah, I
Stella, I
think-
think your dad bet on Anthony.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
when they-
Oh,
Because we didn't really know a lot about
He
you
was like,
guys.
that's a big dude. He'll do really well on
But I
that.
remember we were watching, and I think her dad was like, that guy's gonna win. And I think it was you.
tell him I appreciate that. That's
Yeah, I will.
He definitely lost that bet, but I appreciate it. Yeah.
You did
that
really
one,
well.
Yeah, that one was it was between that one and the 16-minute AMRAP I felt like they were the most fun ones of the weekend. Like the AMRAP
No, like me
hurt.
too.
Yeah, the AMRAP hurt the most by far out of any of the workouts, I felt like. But I was just so proud of how I did. Like, because I was expecting closer to last place on that workout, and I ended up getting 8th, I think. So I was like, oh crap. I was like, heck yeah.
Well, just
but
for the people listening, so I like to try and recap because not everyone knows what we're talking about. So the D-ball workout was 20 D-ball cleans and then bear hug carry down and
50
back
feet.
or 50 feet and then a sprint to the finish. So that was the D-ball. Talk about the AMRAP, what the movements were and like the rep scheme, just for anyone that's listening that doesn't know what we're talking about.
16-minute AMRAP, you go 35 double unders, 30 wall balls with a 30-pound wall ball for my division, 16, 17. Then it goes 25 toes to bar, 20 pistols, 15 bar muscle ups, and then you lunge down and back on the field. And supposedly we're supposed to increase in lunging distance, but only like 5 athletes maybe were able to get to that point in the workout.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that was so pointless to program in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the programming all week, but it was like, that really didn't make a difference, I didn't feel like, in all the workouts.
Did everyone do that? Like, I remember being at the briefing and everyone.
Yeah, they briefed it in the back, but I mean, I didn't.
Yeah,
Did I
because
do
they're asking like if someone gets to round 3, like how far they lunge. I'm like, no one's gonna get to round 3.
Oh, right. That's what it is.
Yeah, so I mean, and it was by such a small margin too. It was like you increased by 5 feet on your lunge distance, so it wasn't a whole lot. So, but minor complaints. But I was so happy with how I did, especially in the warm up area too, because I was working on my double unders. I don't know if this happened to you, but like the warm up area, it was made out of like wood. The floor was so like my jump rope kept popping back up on me,
Yeah.
and like I got in my head by the time I got out there about it. And sure enough, like I do my first set of double unders, and I'm gonna do 12, and then I do another set of 12, and I'm like, oh crap! I said we can't be doing this right now. Luckily, it wasn't a double under workout, so it didn't like. Honestly, I felt like that helped me because I got to catch my breath a little bit, but
Yeah.
I was just like, what in the world? And a lot of the kids in my division don't have a 30-pound wall ball at their gym, so like they weren't comfortable with it. I only do wall balls at our gym. We'll either only do an 11-foot target with 20 or 10-foot with 30. So like I was fairly comfortable with it. And then the lunges. So at the end of I had the middle lane Saturday in my heat. So at the very end, I was on my lunges. I was like, oh crap! I looked to my left. I looked to my right. I'm like, I can pass some people here. So I ended up passing like 5 people at the very end on my lunges. I was like, heck yeah. And my judge gave me a fist bump too. Like to me, that was the proudest I was of myself all weekend. I was so happy with how that one went.
I feel like we're the same person because we both had like the exact same great workouts.
Really?
Yeah, because like the D-ball one and the Olympic lift one was the best leaderboard wise. And then for me, that AMRAP was the best like personally for me because I've made so many achievements in the past year. So that one was really good.
No, exact same story. Like the lift was very well. Hunter, I don't know if you know Hunter Nepia. He was in the platform right beside me. He ended up taking fifth. We were in the same group chat. Like Dallin Pepper was our mentor, and so like I got to brag on him too, because like even while he was competing at the games, he was texting us like, "Let's go, boys, ready for this next workout." And I was like, he didn't have to do that, you know. Like that was so cool of him to go out of his way to do that, and like he was texting us during our games too. So that was very cool for him to do that. But anyway, sorry. Me and Hunter Nepia, like we're talking because we're in the same like mentorship group, and he tells me he's like, I want to break Guy's record while I'm here because Guy snatched 291 when he was in the 16-17 division, and he was like, I think I can break it. And so I was like, please go for it. And I hated it because he ended up playing it safe. I think he could have beaten it, but I think he snatched 285 and clean and jerk 335. And so I was in the next like I was the next athlete to go every time. I was like, following that up just sucks. Like the biggest, baddest weightlifter in the room, and then I load on like 250, which is great for me. But it's like crap, following up 280, 285 is gonna be tough.
So wait, the record that Guy had was 291.
Yeah, he did 291 at the
So
games.
he would have had to load 295 because y'all didn't have change plates. Yeah,
He would have.
Yeah, that's
and I wish I feel like we would have had time, but I understand why they did it, only giving us 2 lifts. But I do wish we would have gotten 3. I feel like a true weightlifting competition. I feel like that would have been so much fun.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying that. I wish that, and then I wish I would have had change plates because I think that would have been more ball to play.
Yeah, I was planning on it if they did to just like slide on 2 pounds.
Yeah. And there would have been no way for them to do this just because there were so many athletes. But I was hoping it would have been like a true weightlifting competition where there's one platform, one athlete goes at a time. But like that, because I did weightlifting for all of last year too, so that would have made me more comfortable, honestly, to do something like that.
Yeah, do you know that D-ball event, not the D-ball event, the sandbag event at the individual games 2 years ago, maybe? Like where they did the max sandbag clean?
No, I don't think I watched the game. I missed the games by like 6 spots, and I was reeling my feels about it, so I didn't watch any of the games that year.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, they had like 3 platforms set up, and one athlete would come in from each platform and have as many attempts as they want
Oh,
at
I
a
do remember
sandbag
this.
clean. And, they did that. They had probably 30 seconds. And then when they came to like the last 8 people, you would move into one platform. that's how I wish they would have done it, because you would have gotten rid of athletes a little bit faster, but then you would give those top 5 or top 10 athletes a time to shine on that one platform.
Right. That would have been super cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if you heard this, but like, or not that it applies more to my age group than yours, but I was hearing a lot from like competitors who had competed in the past that our age group wasn't as competitive this year. But like, and I kind of like, I could see where they were coming from going into it this year. But KO Subiano, he posted a stat. He said 4 people in our age group have snatched 280 or more. 3 of them happened this year. So I mean,
Oh,
after
snap.
yeah, after hearing that, it's like, nah, we were pretty competitive this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think every age group was very competitive.
Right,
I mean, hey, it's the games.
right. And question for you, like, was there one workout where you're like really not ready for or excited for, but you were just like you're ready to get it over with, and you go out on the floor, and it was just like crap, that was not what I expected. Like any that you were unhappy with?
I was unhappy with the ring muscle up one. Just
Same.
because like my warm up was pretty good. I think I got in my head about it, and then I go out there and I could barely get any. So I was not happy with that, but it was the last workout of the games. I do wish that was not the finale. That did not give off finale vibes to me. I wish the D-ball event was the finale.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I wish the finale would have either been the D-ball workout or the thruster workout. I think either one of those would have been pretty cool to see. But
Or even the sled handstand walk would have been good.
Yeah.
that one was such a fun. That was the only one like I got because I made it to the group of 15 athletes, and then I got to watch the final 5 athletes go, and that was so like as a spectator that was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But no, same story for me. Like we did the final workout, and like I knew my legs were tired. I didn't realize how tired like my lats were from
Mhm.
I guess the muscle ups and the toes bar. It was just
Yeah.
like holy cow. Like I got out there and I was doing my dumbbell snatches. And I was like, I want to put this down. And I'm good at dumbbell snatches usually. But in the workout, like I looked to my left and my right in my lanes. No, like I was the last in my heat. I was like, no one was on the same movement as me anymore. I was like, oh crap. And it turned into, as long as I don't put down the dumbbell, the workout's a win. Like
Yeah.
so and going into the like all this year, my burpee box jump overs just are so inefficient too, where I was working on it all year long. And so like they got better throughout the year, but the box was so much longer. Like it wasn't a true box where all the training and like proficiency I'd gained through the summer out the window, like right back to square one doing doing my burpee box jump overs. So I'm not unhappy with it, but it was definitely by far my worst finish.
Yeah.
So, and my only goal this weekend was to not take last on one workout, or I wanted to improve from 21st, what I came in as, and I ended up taking 11th, which I was super happy about.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just don't want to get last in a workout. And I got second to last on that workout. So, hey, I'll take it.
Yeah. No, like back to that box thing, I was warming up in the warm-up area, and I did one and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to take like a little extra step, because I am very efficient with burpee box jump overs or any box jump overs, because you jump on it and you have like probably like about that much of your foot kind of off the box, and you can kind of slide off of it. So it was really wide, and I was like, ooh, that's different, but okay, it's fine.
Yeah. And I played back the video too, and there's so many athletes in my division who could just could jump far enough and they could step down on the box. I played back the video and watched me, and I would jump up, stand up, walk across the box, and then hop back down. I was like, oh, what? Like you play back a video and you're like, what are we doing here? But like once again, I was super happy how the weekend went, but it was just like that one workout was just a punch in the gut. That one was miserable. No one was excited to do that workout.
No, I mean, I didn't really like the handstand walk one, to be honest, just because I didn't know how much handstand walking on turf would affect me, because it's squishy, and that is not like, my wrist is not happy with squishy turf.
Did that throw you off during the workout?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Huh.
Yeah, I don't, it's crazy. And I was like, dang it, because I've worked so hard on my handstand walking
Hmm.
that I was just like, oh, don't get to show it this year.
You did fine.
I did fine, but the goal was to make it to the top 15. So,
What were you in that workout? What did you end
oh,
up finishing?
I have no idea. I think it might have been like fifth, no, not 15th, like 24th,
Okay, gotcha.
possibly.
Really?
Maybe.
I'll look it up. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
not important, but
It's
we've
not.
forgotten that one. Disregard. That never
Erased it from
happened.
my brain.
That workout to me, I was so excited to do that one because handstand walking isn't a weakness, but it's definitely not like it's not a strength either. It's just a thing I have to do. So, but 2 years ago when I was trying to qualify for the games, they took top 10 that year, and I ended up getting 16th. I was on pace to qualify up until our last workout, which was like 50 GHD sit-ups and then handstand walking, and I was able to get like 2 handstand walks in. Like I was terrible. So I've worked on handstand walks like a madman since then, and like to see that pay off to me, make like the second heat, I got to go in. I was 15th of 30. Like I just scooted my way in there, but I was so happy to show that off at the games.
Yeah, that's good. All right, I got a fun question for you. If you were stuck on an island for 1 month and you had to bring 3 things with you, what would you bring? And food and water is supplied there on the island.
Ooh, okay.
Look at
So
you.
I'm
So
on
you don't say food and water because that's boring.
Well, you can still bring other food. Wait, do you get to pick any food you want?
It's a caterer. They're catering
Ooh,
food
I like
for
it.
you.
So like, am I trying to get off the island, or it sounds like I want to stay on the island?
Yeah, you're stuck on the island for a month, whether you
I
like
know,
it or
but
not.
do we have to leave at the end? Because I'm with Anthony. That sounds like a great deal.
But the island is literally just sand with one
Ooh.
palm tree.
I got so little I'm gonna move my phone for you. I got my gun rack right here. I do a little bit of hunting, so I would have to take, I don't know which one I take. I don't know what island I'm on, but I would have to take one of those with me.
You might need a knife for whatever you kill.
Like,
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I might
Unless you're
need
just gonna chew on it.
just munch a little bit. I'd probably have to take a book with me. I don't know what book I would like. It's just like for entertainment.
Mhm.
Like, oh gosh, this is I'm struggling. I'm struggling to come up with things.
What would you take, Stella?
my baby blanket?
No, you wouldn't, would you?
Yeah, I would. I would.
Oh, that's
My
such a real
baby.
answer.
Well, no, actually, my emotional support teddy bear,
Oh,
that one. And then my cat.
no.
Yeah,
She would be a bad
I'll get
island guest.
lonely. Bring my cat with me. Actually, scratch that. Emotional support teddy bear, my best friend Ruby Webb, and a really large Lego kit.
Legos.
Yeah.
The book, like you have to make like a Death Star, or is it just like
Yeah.
you can make anything out of them? Oh,
Just-
so you like make stuff with Legos.
I mean, I like to, but that's what I would bring because it would take me a really long time to do and it would keep me entertained.
I do not have the patience for that. You can give me a year on the island. I'm not finishing the Lego set.
Same.
Okay, all right. So now I have my answers now. I'm taking like a weapon of some sort with me. And my dog Moose, I sent you a picture of him earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Like this, my big, like 120-pound, like white lab. I love him so much. He's one on the right. Gosh, I love him so much. So I'd
He
take
does look
him
like
with
a
me.
moose.
Yes. So I would take him, and I got this football we like to play fetch with, all 3. And I got my caterers with me on the island too. I'm living there.
But what
Yeah.
about the other pup?
He's not I love him, don't get me wrong, but he's my sister. It's like my sister takes care of him, I take care of Moose.
Okay,
Oh.
fair enough.
Okay.
Love both of them, but Moose is my boy.
How about you, Mom?
Oh, I don't play along. I just listen to you guys. Okay, what am I taking? I would definitely go with the book. I would definitely go with sunscreen since you're only giving me one palm tree to sit under. And goggles.
Very nice.
I can swim.
Interesting. Interesting twist, Mom. I like you. I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay. You are moving up to the big dog division next year.
Oh yeah.
What does your off season look like for you going into this next season?
I've taken some time off already. Like I took a week and a half off. I was starting to lose my mind. I just had to get back in the gym and do something. So like I would like to learn a new skill. Like I'd like to try my hand in like gymnastics or like just something different because it's going to be such a long time before I'm able to qualify again at the games. Like I know like there's so many athletes I met from like France or Brazil or like Australia who like I'll probably never get to see again. But they all said they're going to try to qualify for Wadapalooza in a few months. So I think I'm going to try to qualify because like I would love to compete at Wadapalooza, but like the people I got to meet over the course of last weekend was by far the best part. So hopefully I get to see him again down there if I make it.
Do you have a favorite person that you met? You got a number one?
Oh gosh, I got number one and number two.
Okay.
So number one, he was like one of the only other like American friends I made. Was Max Peterson. He was a backfill actually, but like he ended up killing it over the weekend. So it was awesome getting to meet him. He was from Oregon, and it was hilarious because we were walking out for our first workout, the trail run, and everyone was like so like stone cold, like they're so all serious. None of them were talking to each other, and me and him were both like we're talking crap to each other the whole time. And these guys were like, "Oh my gosh, can they shut up?" But it was just like we were just having so much fun, just running our mouths with each other. So he was awesome to meet. We were talking to each other back and forth all weekend. And Thomas, who's actually from, I don't want to get this wrong. He's from, I forget what island he's from, but it's right between like New Zealand and Australia. He speaks French because it's a French colony, but like he was by far the funniest competitor there. Like he was, every time we'd warm up together, he'd be like, "I will kick your butts in this workout." It like he was awesome to talk to.
Yeah.
So, did you have a favorite athlete that you met over the weekend?
Well, your friend Sarah from Brazil.
So my friend Sarah doesn't speak a lick of English, and every time we would talk, it would be through our facial expressions.
Oh, that's awesome. I had one of those too. Like, because like if they don't speak English, like basic movements, like you can do a thruster in front of them and they would know. And like they know like pain, hurt, and workout like that, and they speak teenager too. Like we all kind of have like a vibe to us but this guy was like one of the French guys, Elijah Attai. I got to meet him, and he was super cool. And so William was another French guy, and he was doing like a lot of translating for us. But he left at one point, so it was just me and Elijah. And I'm talking to him, and he goes, "Sorry, French good, no English." And I go, "Hey, no worries, me no French." So like, and he just lost it. He was like, and after that, we were just like it was one of those where it's like I knew he was hilarious, but I wish we could speak the same language because just by him talking to like William and Thomas, I could tell that he was just like hilarious to be around.
Yeah.
Stella's little friend Sarah. I don't know why I call all your friends little friends, but I've been
She
doing that
is little.
I've been doing that since you were
Pretty
like
short.
4. You're a little friend. But she came over to me and she's like, "Where?" And I'm like, "Where what?" And she's like, "Her," and I'm like, "What happened?" I had no idea, but she just wanted to make sure that Stella hadn't left without saying goodbye. So we finally we were like, "What? Who? Where?" And she's like, "Your girl." I'm like,
"Oh, that's
okay.
so awesome."
But she was so excited to like make sure she saw Stella, and that's how they communicated. Like apparently the whole weekend they were like, "Yeah."
That's so awesome. And so there's one Lee Dong Chang he was Korean and he didn't speak any English at all. And we were in the lanes beside each other Saturday, I think. But it was like because he doesn't speak any English, they would tell us like, "All right, time to walk out on the floor." But like that doesn't mean anything to him. So like at one point I was like, I turned him around and said, "All right, here we go," and just and like pointed forward.
Yeah.
And he went out and just gave me a thumbs up. He was like, "Thank you," but especially because like I don't think they had any like Korean translators too. So he was kind of on his own all weekend, which obviously it's fun to compete at the games, but that kind of like I'm sure had really to put a damper on it for him.
Yeah. I just think it was so cool having like so many people there, not just from the USA, but like all over the world. These people come and compete in one place, and it's really special. You get to make like lifelong friends without saying words to each other, just with facial expressions.
The universal language of CrossFit.
And I'm like, she's my
Right.
best friend.
100%. Like I've stayed in contact with like I want to say like 6 of the athletes that I competed with just because like they're so cool. I'm trying to stay in touch with them still. So yeah, the athletes there were incredible. How many in your division were from the U.S.?
There was probably
I would say 9. 9 to
Okay.
12. It
So
was
quite a few.
It was
And
quite
then
a
a
few.
few people from like Australia, New Zealand, and then Canada. So
5 from Brazil.
5 from Brazil, which was really
think.
cool. And
Oh,
so
I do want to show this picture of Anthony from the lifting event. We didn't really talk about the lifting event that
Oh yeah,
much.
let's talk about that lifting event.
But the
You're a
push
push jerker.
Yeah, yes, I am. Not usually, but I was that weekend. Going into that week, I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna snatch over 245, and there's no way I'm gonna clean and jerk anything over 305." Was like how I was in my head. Unfortunately, like the month before the games, I'd pulled a groin muscle, so like I couldn't split jerk at all. Normally I split jerk, but it was like it just hurt so much. Where it's like there's no power I had in my split jerk. So I'd been practicing my push jerk, and which honestly my push jerk isn't that much worse than my split anyway. So it wasn't the biggest thing in the world. But I get out there and I see everyone's like doing 225 for their snatch, and I'm like, I'm not doing 225, so I loaded up 230, and I was like, and I got 230. I was like, oh yeah, and so my PR at the time was 245. I just went for 250, and it was so smooth, and I got underneath. I was like, heck yeah, and like my crowd of people that all came up there with me were like all like losing their minds. It was awesome. I
So
kind of
you took a 20-pound jump? Did you say
a 20.
250?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
On the snatch. That's such a baller. Like anytime all y'all that did that in the snatch, I'm like, what? Wow.
Adrenaline is a wild thing. Getting out there in front of like I could never do that in my gym, but in front of a crowd of people, it's easy.
How would that have changed if you had had 3 attempts? Would you have done 245, 250? Like, what would the competition have looked like for you if you had 3
If I would
attempts?
have started if we would have gotten 3 attempts, I would have started a little bit higher because like if you only get 2, if you miss like it's super easy to miss 2 attempts. So I think I
Yeah.
would have started a little bit higher at 235, maybe then gone 245, and then try to go 255. Maybe is what I probably would have done. But 2 attempts is like you got to get one on the board that you know you can get, and then depending on how that feels, take a big risk or
Yeah.
just inch your way up. So I took a bigger risk and it paid off. So and like it still looked smooth. I was like, I feel like I could have gotten more. I don't like to play around with like ands and ifs or like could'ves and should'ves. It's not worth thinking about. But I get to my clean and jerk, and like I can't hear my coaches by this time. They're starting to lose their voice a little bit, and the arena's so loud. So I do 300 on my push jerk or clean and jerk, and I get underneath it, and I couldn't believe how good it felt. And so I don't know what I should do next. I can't hear my coaches. And so I just go down to my judge. I'm like, hey, what do you think I should do next? And he tells me, he's like, hey, 320 would probably be good. So I said, perfect. I loaded up 320 on the bar and I hit it.
Funny.
Shout out to that judge.
No,
Yes.
he was the man. Like he said, I'm probably not supposed to have told that. He's I think he said like we're technically not supposed to coach the athletes, but we're joking around all weekend. So he's like, hey. So
Not coaching, it's just giving advice.
I won't give his name just in case he will get in trouble for that. But
No.
yeah, no, but he was
That's
super cool. And like looking back on it, I am happy I push jerked it because I played back the live stream. Like everyone was doing split jerks, and then they said, and Anthony Nix joins the 300-pound club. 300-pound club. Yeah, or with the push jerk. And they're like, oh my god. And so like they talked about it for a little bit. I was like, heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so looking back, I'm not mad about it at all. But like I was like I pulled my groin the month before and I couldn't lunge at all going into that weekend. And I was trying to warm up in the warm up area for the overhead lunges. And it was just feeling terrible. Like I was like, I'm not warming up for it anymore. And I go out on the floor and like there's so much adrenaline going through my body. I don't feel a thing. And I take off, I go down and back, and I was so thankful that happened. I didn't feel my injury all weekend. Sunday afternoon, I lay on the couch. I was just going, oh my goodness. Like all the adrenaline was gone. Like I said earlier, super happy with how all the workouts went. I can't complain.
What did you feel about the trail run?
So my friend Max from Oregon, who I was telling you about earlier, we were talking on the bus on the way over there about it. we're all like kind of talking about it, and we figured out that we were the worst two runners on the bus. So we're like, hey, we're just competing not to get last. So it ended up being me and him in the back of the pack. So he passes me at one point in time. And I'm like, oh crap. So I was like, I knew that meant I was in the back of the line. And I take off on a sprint with like 300 meters left. I give him an elbow while I'm passing him. And I ended up so I sprinted at the end and I ended up making like 2 or 3 spots. So I finished 26th of 29 athletes who were there. Happy with how that went. And then the sprints, the obstacle course, it was just hills.
So many of them too.
Yeah. I don't know if you feel the same way, but the second to last hill, the last one was fine, but the second to last hill was like an incline like this. And it was just, I've never naturally gone into a bear crawl before, but that one got tough.
It felt like just straight up, and I was like, oh no, I'm about to fall.
Yeah, but the trail was fun to run on. Like
Yeah.
you kept saying like new areas, and there was one point where it was like pretty gravelly, and it went down and then straight back up, and there's like photographers right there, and that was a cool little area to run into, like because it was kind of like surrounded by trees, so you really couldn't see anything else. But the trail was super cool. I was kind of expecting like hay bales or someone else on the obstacle course.
Yeah.
But now, how did you feel about the run?
I've been working on my running so much this summer, and I was like, I'll just go out there. I'm gonna do my best. I have worked hard for this and whatever. Now, our age group stood the start line for probably 10 minutes because we were the first one to go. So I was like, I'm ready. I was like shadow boxing for like 10 minutes, like freaking on caffeine or something.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
So I was ready to go. We walked the trail before the event, and I was like, yay, there are like no hills. It's almost completely kind of flat. I was excited about, so I knew I could push it harder. But I did very good. I think I got 21st on that event, which I was so glad. I improved in my running by like 50% in the past year.
Nice.
So that was good.
We were so excited spectating it because we knew how hard she'd worked on the run. Like she did the trail run at the pit last year, and I think did a 12:30 pace on the run, right?
Yeah.
And
But it was like this the whole time. So
I know,
Oh,
but
dang.
like now she was doing sub 8-minute miles on her 5Ks around town and stuff. And so when she rounded the corner, because I was counting, like I was like 1, 2, 3. I was counting the people as they went by, and I was like. I was like to the people, and all the people like with the kids that had the 4th place are like, because we're like crying.
We're
like
yeah.
19th. We were so happy. It was hilarious, but it's just all about perspective. I mean, that was huge. Last year, she would have guaranteed to have been last in that, like guaranteed, and by minutes and minutes. And she was in the mix, I mean, just a little bit faster, just a smidge. She'd have been like 17, and it's those little gains that I don't know. As a parent and a spectator, we were like,
no, I heard you and I was like, who is? Oh, that's my mom.
That's
I was
hilarious.
most happy about that and the AMRAP.
Yeah.
Because I've been at the gym with you and I've seen what it took to get.
And then the people who weren't at the gym were like, she did amazing on that D-ball event and the lifting. And I was like, I told y'all I was going to do good on that.
Like, yeah, whatever, the third and the D-ball.
Like,
I mean, even
everybody expected that. Everybody expected that from me.
We're like, okay, third in the D-ball, but let's talk about that 21st in the run.
Right. Yeah. No, I know exactly how you felt. There's a lot of times I didn't place high, but I did very well for me. Like knowing you've improved so much over the past year or two is such an awesome feeling.
So, last question. What advice would you give someone who wants to try CrossFit for the very first time?
Ooh.
Don't do it. Walk away.
It's a cult.
Yeah, that would be the first piece of advice. But after that, I would probably say patience is a big thing. Like you're very very few people are going to walk in the gym and just get it immediately. There's like the 0.0001% of all athletes who like can show up and be great at things like that. But for the average human, like for everybody else, like it takes so long. And listening to your coaches and telling them like hit your standards, it's okay to scale this part, and just to hit your stimulus on the workouts. Patience is such a big part of CrossFit, and being patient and being humble like humbling yourself to like, hey, maybe I'll use a 14-pound wall ball instead of a 20, or like anything like that. And like your coaches have like a level 1, level 2, like they've been trained to do that too. So it's not like you're giving it to someone who doesn't know anything. Like they've been trained, and so being patient, being humble, and being coachable is the biggest thing when you start CrossFit, is my belief.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. Glad
Thank
to
you so
have
much for
you
asking
here.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I've been looking forward to this all week. So finally.
King of the jungle, heart of a lion. 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch out, here I come. This is my time.